The best, dude, the best epic rap battles of history has to be the Ninja Turtles versus the Renaissance artists. It was the best one. Yeah. And Smash.
Oh yeah, Smash. I think my favorite is... Oh no,
Hitler versus Darth Vader? Basic ass game.
it's quite... Yeah, no, I can't say that one.
But Hitler versus Darth Vader 2? Okay.
Nah, maybe 3 though. Shit. I don't remember.
Another good one is the Wright brothers versus the Mario brothers.
Oh, the Wright brothers? Yeah.
They still making them? I haven't seen a relevant one
Trump
in a while.
Hillary Clinton, classic.
Of course, every election.
Rick Grimes versus Walter White, classic.
Hey man, what the hell? Nobody wants to get in the nuke?
Michael Jordan versus Muhammad Ali is pretty good.
That's a good one. What's the Listen King versus Gandhi? That was really good too.
Alright, so we're going to take a look at that. I apologize. I'm not going to be doing the slow motion all that on this because I have my OBS set up for stream tomorrow. So you can see I got 11 attempts and 2 of them were laps and this one was pretty fast. I think this is pretty fast. So first off on the run up, basically just get into second gear here. So I'm in second. And you just want to make as normal of a turn as possible. You can carry like marginal more speed by running like kind of outside or apexing later, but I'll show you why that doesn't matter here in a minute. So shift into third here, and now I'm going to do something really weird. I just do not like where this upshift into fourth is because after you make the upshift, you're like downshifting less than a second afterwards. So I'm just not going to shift into fourth gear. How much time do I lose between here and here? I probably like 2 or 3 hundredths, so it really does not matter. It does feel like you're losing speed, but it's really marginal, and it just helps my rhythm so much with not having to shift that much. So I'm just going to keep it in third all the way here, and then start braking. You have to brake before these signs. It's going to be really counterintuitive, but you just can't brake much later than this. Like, brake at the 300 at your own peril, you're probably going to miss the corner. So what's my marker? About the yellow, about this right here, about the yellow light right here. So I go to 80% brake. This seems to be about the amount that you can get without locking up. I can't really go much more than that. And then using the little throttle blips to downshift. So a couple pros I talked to have this trick where they hold just a tiny bit of throttle, like maybe less than 5%, to help be stable under braking. I didn't feel like I needed to do that, but if you ever are feeling sketchy under braking, just try to put a little throttle in it and it might straighten it out. Just the tiniest bit. So anyways, the thing about turn 1 here is we want to hit this curb. Like, if you're not hitting the curb, you're not getting what you can get out of this. So I could have turned in a little bit later and a little bit sharper here than this was. I think I lost about 1/10 here, but really what you're looking for is a late sharp turn that hits the curb. So I got on the curb, that was good. My throttle up, I should have been unloading the wheel already by this point because you hear the tires there, and that's good for kind of making the exit, but I could have carried a little more speed if I started unloading a little earlier and kind of let it drift up a little further. Without getting an off track, you can get with your right sides on the curb at any point. Keeps you from getting a 1x. So keep that in mind for qualifying lap. If you have both tires off of the curb here to the left, most likely you're getting an off track. So I played a little safe here. Okay, first turn. Forgive me, I don't know the corner numbers. So the first S turn, the curb is a little bit deceiving. You see a curb and you're like, oh, I want to hit that curb. You want to late apex this curb here. So look at my throttle control. Oh, by the way, sorry, I'll go over gears real quick. So second gear through this corner, up to third here, back down to second, No, sorry. We're up to third here. So you can run this in second, but I like it in third better. It's more stable. So late apex this in third. This is one of the hardest parts of the lap for me, is getting over this hill and transitioning so that you make the next S. So what I like to do is I like to angle my car coming out of the first S so that I'm already kind of lined up with the second S, and then I just try to react to seeing that curb and just aiming towards it. Again, you kind of want a late apex. I apexed a little too early here, but this is kind of what you need to do in order to like not get hit by the off camber corner and go into the wall. You kind of just want to get that transition. And take a notice of my throttle control this whole way through. About half. Half, never going full. Go full for a tiny bit. But like, you really can just be partial throttle through these corners. One more trick through the third S. I drive it really deep into the third S, and as it's starting to get loose, I use my upshift into fourth gear to stable out the car, and then I just kind of drive the car straight off the corner. Okay, look at that one more time. So coming off this S, drive it hard into the last S, upshift into fourth to counteract the looseness, and we drive straight off. Okay, so now going into the chicane here, my braking point is going to be somewhere between the first two signs. Again, I'm really heavy on the brake. I was pushing my luck with getting on the brakes this much. So here's the thing about the braking. You want to be slowing down as much as you can while you're in a straight line, while subtly angling your car at the curb. And then you want to get a lot of turn in, but by the time you do this turn in, you do not want to be heavy on the brakes anymore. You want to be about half or less. So I'm half or less on the brakes, and then going over the curb, you want to be off the brakes completely, or else some weird stuff happens with like the contact of the tires as you do a little jump over the curb. So no brakes going over the curb, and then the moment you land, get back on the brakes until you're over the second curb. Brake into the second curb, and then I kind of throttle off the curb. So brake until you're at the apex of the second curb, and then throttle off. And then you're off the chicane. Okay, let's take a look at that one more time. One, throttle, power it off. Now back to no throttle. So now we're going to do the carousel here. Do this in third gear. You really make up more time than you think you can by just running this bottom in third gear. You might think, oh, this feels so slow because it sounds slow, but you will be struggling in second gear keeping the car straight, and especially for race. Keeping the carousel in third gear is going to be very good for race because it'll help out your tires a lot. So just keep it on the bottom. You might do a tiny diamond if you want to, but you really can just get away with this. And so I'm actually throttling really early off the corner. You can see I'm getting to like most throttle before I can even see where the exit is. Like when you can see the entrance to the classic track, then I start getting heavier on the gas, because for whatever stupid reason, this area has no 1x on the runoff. So you can just completely yeet this. The only thing you cannot do is get your lefts like near this grass patch. That's when it starts giving you the 1x. So as long as you can get back down like before the curb is completely gone, then you can go as far off as you want here. So use that to your advantage on hot lap and during the race. Just freaking use the track. It's so stupid, but you don't get a 1x. Why it's not like that for turn 1, I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand what iRacing is doing here. Okay, going into this corner, this left-hander, I'm going to do my braking point as slightly before the first sign. Again, this car needs a long time to slow down. Lots of braking, and again, braking in a straight line, do it as full as possible, starting to turn in, back it down to half. And then throttle at apex. And again, this has a okay, it's like a random, the 1x detection. This was not a 1x, even though both my tires are off the curb. I have definitely gotten 1x's being a little bit farther out than this. So this one is like you kind of want to be on the curb, If you're a little bit off, it's fine, but if you're a lot of bit off, you're going to get a 1x. So be careful on that. Look at that one more time. Sorry. Brake, brake. Turn in. You can hop the curb a little bit, but not too much. And then you get back off. Don't go full. You can go full throttle if you want, but it doesn't really get you much. What I'm more worried about is being able to set up wide for the last corner. If you can't set up wide for the last corner, it doesn't matter what kind of run you have off the corner. So I make sure I set up wide. Oh, by the way, sorry. Once again, this is third gear. I go from fourth to third gear here. Third gear, third gear, third gear, third gear. And then I go into second really early to try to kind of help the turn in. I try to apex right on the curb and then get full throttle as early as possible to carry the run. Okay, I'll take a look at that one more time. So coming off the carousel, jump the curb a little bit, come back to the left, try to set up wide, get into second, get down to the curb, and drive off the corner. And that's going to be your lap at Watkins Glen. A couple notes for the race. Really don't be aggressive with second gear if you're trying to save your tires. So like between the S's, the carousel, even like turn 1 sometimes, you just don't want to push your second gear too hard. If you can be in third gear and kind of just ride around and kind of be fast, that will be really good for your long run race. If you really do have to go into second for these corners, just be careful with the throttle. That's how you destroy your rears, and a lot's going to get really tough for you when you destroy your rears. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.